Kenneth Burke was a 20th century rhetorician whose theories can be applied to a multitude of contemporary issues. I've decided to focus on his definitions of man within the massive multiplayer online game The Elder Scrolls Online. I'll be moving around the order of the definitions to best weave my points together. The Elder Scrolls universe takes place in the fictional world of Tamriel. It is made up of 9 provinces. Sadly for the orcs, the Hrothgar Mountains don't count as a whole province. With a vacant position of Emperor for the Cyrodiilic throne, the 10 races of Tamriel have scrambled together to try to gain control. Separated from the natural condition by tools of their own making, each race has forged war to take a crown bathed in crimson. The Daggerfall Covenant is comprised of the Bretons of High Rock, the Redguards of Hammerfell, and the Orcs of the Hrothgar Mountains. The Ebonheart Pact is an unstable alliance between the Nords of Skyrim, the Dark Elves of Morrowind, and the Argonians of Blackmarsh. The Aldmeri Dominion is a collection of the High Elves of the Somerset Isles, the Wood Elves of Valenwood, and the Khajiit of Elsewhere. Goaded by the spirit of hierarchy, the 10 races of Man and Mer from the Elder Scrolls Online also reflect Burke's definition. Their 3 leaders, Emeric of the Daggerfall Covenant, Jorun of the Ebonheart Pact, and Iren of the Aldmeri Dominion are the faces for each faction. The 10th race, the Imperials, are left with a dead emperor and forced to throw their lot in with whatever alliance they so choose. High King Emeric is a Breton merchant lord whose shrewd policies and masterful diplomacy earned him the trust of the kings of High Rock, an alliance by marriage with the Redguards, and ultimately a war treaty with the Orcs. He rules from Wayrest in High Rock. Following the Akaviri invasion of the Second Era, the burden of High King of Skyrim was left upon Jorun. He rules over the Ebonheart Pact as a part of the Great Moot, a unique form of governance made up of the Pact's 3 races. He is down to earth, humorous, and has an iron will to succeed. Queen Iren is intelligent and honorable with a genuine humility rarely seen among her people. She is also a decisive leader with a stubborn streak. She is young for a high elf, a mere 28 years old, but has spent much of the first part of her life roaming the lands and seas of Tamriel, seeking adventure and the kind of education schools simply cannot impart. She returned to Somerset following the death of her father to accept her position as heir to the Aldmeri throne. The Men and Mer of Tamriel have each chosen a mighty animal as the symbol for their alliance. This completely fulfills Burke's point of man as a symbol-using animal. The dragon represents the Ebonheart Pact, the lion represents the Daggerfall Covenant, and the phoenix represents the Aldmeri Dominion. Burke defines man as the inventor of the negative. Sadly, this couldn't be more true for the races of Tamriel. I took these next few shots from an official trailer for the Cyrodiil War and give ZeniMax Online full credit. I couldn't capture the war quite as well as they could. With that, I am brought to the final definition, that men and Mer are rotten to perfection. This is best defined as having selfish desires and motives. Each alliance has their own idea of ruling. The Daggerfall Covenant is an alliance of old enemies. With the death of the Emperor of Cyrodiil, many trade routes were disrupted, causing much poverty and suffering. However, with a faction that is almost exclusively based on wealth, what can be said about their future? The Ebonheart Pact is the most unstable alliance, but each race shares the common desire to preserve their homeland's independence. An empire run by the Ebonheart Pact shows little hope for those outside their inner circle. The Aldmeri Dominion was formed in an attempt to retake Cyrodiil and the throne to restore elven rule to Tamriel. The Dominion believes that the Merrick elven races are much more worthy to lead than the races of men. Helmed by such arrogance, how could the Aldmeri Dominion possibly help shape a better world? So the rest is left for you to decide. I hope you've enjoyed my analysis on Burke's definition of man and myrrh.